welcome to Abstract AF. I'm Sneha Jaswal and I am going to be reviewing Purple Hibiscus by Chimamanda Ngozi Adichie. Now, I have only read two short stories by the author, The Visit and Zikora, both of which were alright, nothing impressive, even though it was easy to see that the author had great command over her language and the sentences were fluid and rhythmic to read. It's just that the stories lacked punch. So I decided to read her longer form novels. Published in 2003, Purple Hibiscus is Chimamanda's debut novel and follows the story of 15-year-old Kambili who belongs to a very affluent family in Nigeria. Her father is the rich, generous but scary Eugene, who is extremely religious and punishes his family in violent ways when they fail to do his bidding. Having never lived away for more than a day from her home, Kambili's view of life changes when she spends a few weeks at her auntie's house. The easy laughter of her cousins, their enthused debates among each other, and the lack of fear in the house is completely new to her and her older brother. There's this brilliant juxtaposition of these two homes. One of Eugene's lavish bungalow with servants, fancy furniture, abundant food. He's politically connected, so he always has guests to entertain. But the house is devoid of love and laughter. While Kambili's auntie's house is small, crammed, they don't have enough food for themselves. They don't even have access to water and electricity all the time. Yet, it's a home filled with joy and happiness. Set at a time when Nigeria was shaken by a military coup, author Chimamanda spins a riveting tale of religious intolerance, domestic violence, and political upheaval. Adichie's language is vivid, immediately conjuring up the images described through the pages. The busy Nigerian markets bustling with people dressed in their wrappers, peddling their wares, or the modest little house of Kambili's Aunt Ifeoma, where the children gather around to help make meals and sing songs. For me, the strongest theme in the book was how religious indoctrination works. Kambili's father, Eugene, is one of the most overpowering, oppressive figures in the book, a self-made man who converted to Catholicism and looks down upon his Nigerian roots. He calls his own father a pagan and keeps his children at a one-arm distance from their grandfather. He is extreme in his expectations of how his wife and children should behave, drawing out schedules for them and basically dictating every little move of their life. There are a lot of elements of Nigerian culture to be taken in, their festivals, their food, and I like how the author does not go out of her way to explain each little local cuisine that she mentions through the book. And well, there's obviously this clash of religions and cultural beliefs that come in. Just reading about Kambili's life feels stifling. She's a bright girl who's always at the top of her class, but her throat dries up when she wants to have a regular conversation with girls at school or even with her first cousin, because she's just not used to having her own opinion. Every thought in her head is tailored to the expectations of her father. The author does an incredible job with illustrating how people can be groomed into believing that their oppressors are their saviors, which is why it is also hard to like Kambili as a protagonist, because despite being able to empathize as a reader with her situation, you cannot help but be frustrated with this young rich girl who believes that her violent father is some sort of god who she truly loves, despite the mental and physical abuse he inflicts on his wife and children. Purple Hibiscus isn't exactly a novel that one can binge read. It took me over a week to finish reading it, and while I was completely invested in Kambili's story, the climax felt too rushed and unsatisfactory. It's not cryptic or open-ended like a lot of authors tend to do with their books, but readers just don't get a conclusive closure to the story, or at least that's how I felt. There is an unexpected twist in the ending. It's not predictable at all, but it's also not very surprising or shocking either. It just feels abrupt. Because for most parts of the novel, Chimamanda leisurely describes everything, but the climax lacks that smooth, laid-back texture of the narration. Overall, it's a 4 on 5 from me. The novel definitely has a voice that's worth reading, and I will be checking out more of Chimamanda's work. That's all. Talk to you in the next one.